Joining us now is the Deputy Nationals Leader Bridget McKenzie. Congratulations on the election win. Does this put to bed once and for all any speculation about trying to topple your leader, Michael McCormack?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a very relieved regional Australia this week as they potentially faced decimation of our agriculture and mining industries from an elected Bill Shorten government. And I think the National Party right across Australia had a really strong proposition for our communities. They knew the value of having MPs and senators that would stand up and fight for them in Canberra, and they returned them all, which we're so thankful for, and indeed also going to see a New South Wales senator, which we are very, very thankful for, in Perrin Davies. So right across the board, regional Australia, from our mining regions up in central Queensland to the Murray-Darling Basin, who threw up its arms in the thought of having Tony Burke as Water Minister and uncapping the water buybacks, I think really elected the National Party because they know that we'll stand up and fight for them, and we have a positive plan for prosperous regions going forward, which we're really looking forward to deliver on.
The result in North Queensland was absolutely stunning. At least it stunned Labor, and it was all about coal in Flynn, Dawson, Herbert, Capricornia. Does this mean that the Nationals, that you as Deputy Leader, will push to have that feasibility study for a new coal-fired power station at Collinsville expedited?
Well, we made a commitment to get the feasibility study done prior to the election, and we'll continue with that. That's our plan, to get the feasibility study done.
Is this an endorsement of that plan, though?
Well, I think if you look at the suite of policy options, including the feasibility study for Collinsville, but the whole suite of options we took to the election, regional Australia, whether it was jailing agri-terrorists, record funding for drought, our regional communications and health, our $100 billion worth of infrastructure, right across the board, everything that regional Australia needs to go forward and develop was part of our coalition platform. In central Queensland, it was about local jobs, and that means a prosperous and sustainable mining industry, which we will never back away from. And I think you're seeing the reaction in the Labor Party this week from them turning their backs on the mining industry and local jobs in regional areas that depend on the extractive industries.
One area in your part of the world, though, Indi, Helen Haynes, Independent, ran on climate change. Do you accept that that remains an issue for many farmers as well and many people in the region?
Well, we've been really clear that we are taking strong action on climate change. We've set realistic targets for Paris. We're one of the only countries in the world that sets a target and meets it. We've got a strong plan for practical and pragmatic measures to assist not just our farming community but small businesses and larger businesses adapt and adopt new technologies to reduce their emissions. So we are taking strong action on climate change, and I'm looking forward to working with our regional communities to roll those programs out. When you look at the Indi vote, it really was reflection of the previous vote that the coalition parties got in the previous election. So it remains to see Helen Haynes' voting record in the House of Representatives when she gets there. But other than Indi, I think right across the board, even in regional Tasmania, you see the regional communities, the extractive industries, farmers, fishers and foresters backing in the National and the Liberal parties because they know we have their backs. We want to see them grow and prosper. We understand that when regional Australia is strong, so too is our nation. And we're the only party in federal parliament that really has their backs. And we have MPs that stand up and fight. And I think mentioning Michelle Landry, George Christensen, Kenny O'Dowd, Matt Canavan, indeed that entire central Queensland belt, their communities knew, not just during the election campaign, but the whole previous 3 years, that their MPs had taken the fight up for them and for the mining industry in Canberra, and they were returned. I think it says a lot about politics, right? Hard-working local members who are connected to their communities and are fighting about the issues that their communities care about will be returned, which is how it's supposed to be.
Senator, we spoke to you on this program in the final sitting week of the last parliament, and you were really anxious to get this big legislation, big stick legislation through the Parliament for energy companies. Does this remain your number one priority when Parliament does sit again?
Well, you know, we are absolutely committed to getting our income tax legislation through. Regional Australia has the lowest median income earners in the country, and we know that anyone earning over $40,000 in this country will be better off under our income tax plan. So getting that piece through, but obviously the divestiture power legislation remains top of mind for us in the National Party as soon as possible.
So before
would you like to see some of your colleagues? Would you like to see some of your colleagues, Jane Hume and Susan Lee and other women, return to the front bench, return to cabinet?
Well, they're obviously decisions for the Prime Minister to take over the coming week. I know he's got a breadth of talent within both the Liberal and the National Party rooms to select his cabinet and his ministries from, and he'll be wanting to make sure he's got the best team, the most talented team he can have to actually deliver on the mandate we've received from the Australian people. It's incredibly humbling, I think, for all of us this week to be here. It's such a privilege to serve our communities in Canberra, and to be given that opportunity for another 3 years is something we're very humbled by this week, and really looking forward to diligently pursuing that agenda over the next 3 years.
Senator, thanks so much for your time.
Anytime.